I'd
Well, sorry, go ahead. No,
I'd like to call the meeting to order. It's May the 20th, 2026. As we meet today, we acknowledge that we live in Mi'kma'ki, the traditional ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. We are all treaty people with a responsibility to each other and to this land. At this time, we are open to a public forum if anyone would like to speak to the commission.
if you don't mind, we'll start off with just a few comments. My name is Colin McDonald, as you might know, and I'm also the chair of the Chester Volunteer Village Commission Fire Department. We're here to solicit your support and authorization to procure a loan to build our new fire station. Questions on construction will be explained by Wilson Fitt, our construction expert. And the financial and tax implications will be explained by Kurt Colligan, our financial expert. I'm just simply a speaker. At the end of the day, and in some way, we were replacing a 60-year-old building that is not only in its last legs, but even more importantly, doesn't provide the protection and safety consideration needed in today's challenging firefighting environment. An example, we don't have, for our community heroes, who are the volunteers, a proper cleanup facility after attending a fire. Yet we hear daily stories of firefighters, smoke-related cancers, claiming young lives. And this makes it even more critically important that we update our station. Our selfless volunteers, our community heroes, in fact, deserve nothing less. Remember, they do 320 call-outs a year, dragged away from the jobs, their families, their meals, their bids to respond to your and my emergencies. And they do 25 days of training on top of that. And some people ask, well, why do they respond to a medical emergency? Because there's not enough ambulances here to deal with it. So if you're having a heart attack and you call 911, they say, oh, somebody will be there in an hour or so. Or would you like to have the volunteers who arrive at your door who have been trained to be a medical assistant? They're not doctors, but they have been trained. Same thing for the fires that they get called out to. I have nothing but the greatest admiration for these men and women who do that job. And they deserve a new and properly laid out modern fire station. If they don't answer the call, you should ask yourself, who will? Will it be us? Driving into the city yesterday, I saw a sign outside Timberlake, which was virtually begging for volunteers to join the fire service there. We don't have that problem here in Chester because of the dedicated and committed generations of firefighting volunteers. It's a family tradition. They, in my opinion, only deserve our deepest respect. They deserve our support, and even more so, their selfless service demands it. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll let Wilson, any questions you want to ask of an intelligent nature, you can ask these two gentlemen.
Well, actually, Colin, I'm going to step in and thank you for that absolutely brilliant public forum statement. And then I'm going to get an approval for the agenda.
Oh, okay.
But it was good, it was there.
I'm not used to,
Well, it was
You're
for
not used to somebody else being in charge.
I mean, he's a member.
there's truth to that. I'm not used to bureaucracy. I'm a very direct human being, and always have been.
As are we.
Yeah.
As are we. But it actually, that fit perfectly in our public forum because it's important, it's a part of the permanent record. And the village commission is 100% behind everything that you just said. And we consider the fire department to be our most important focus. So we're happy to have it on the public record. And
Excellent. Thank you.
very quickly, we will get to the actual facts of the matter. Commissioners, may I have approval of our agenda, or do you wish to amend it? Gloria, you're moving it?
Second.
Thank you, Tom. Any objection? Carried. If you have all had an opportunity to read the monthly minutes for the last commission meeting from April 22nd, are there any amendments? Any corrections? May I have a mover to approve? Thank you, Tom.
Second.
Thank you, Randy. Business arising, there is none. Now, guess what? There's a request for decision from the Chester Fire Station bill load.
You want me to start again?
Pass him off.
We have been great with the company of Kirk Collicott, Norm Pathway, Wilson Fed, and
Norm's-
Colin. Oh, isn't he? Oh,
No, he's not. He's
Okay.
doing the fact meeting.
Okay, we'll cross out Norm and Colin McDonald. So we have been given the request for decision. Does anyone have any questions, or shall we just have each one of you have a little speech? You want to say anything, Wilson?
It's probably better if I answered questions, but
Okay. Well-
I can speak to the budget and budget control and also to how we're going to go about building this in that term. So Kirk can talk about
About money.
Yeah, money.
Well, since we're here mostly about money
Yeah.
this evening, your presentation at the hall the other day was fascinating. Love to hear it, love to see the drawings and everything, and very exciting.
Okay. You
You
all,
want me to?
are you finished or are you?
Well, just let me say that, here, so you give me a platform. and I can
Okay.
insist. That's the problem with people like me, or one of several problems with people like me. So we are in the middle of design. Design for these sorts of things goes in several fairly well-defined stages. There's this conceptual design that was done a couple of years ago. And then we revisited that with the new design team, same crowd, but different players in some detail. And revisited in a lot of detail with the firefighters. And we've had a couple of public presentations, so members of the community at large have had a chance to speak to it. And we are now in the middle of what's called design development, where all of the details are being worked out that matter to the users. This is followed by construction documents where you get big rolls of plans and thick specification books, which is so far in the weeds that most of the ordinary users aren't all that concerned about it. So we're in the middle of design development where the decisions that matter to the firefighters and to the community are being made. We've spent a lot of time with the firefighters. We've got, I think, on their side, a very strong team. We had Cody Stevens and Jared McDonald. Cody was the fire chief for the last few years, and he was deputy before that for 4 or 5 years or something like that too. And Jared McDonald was the deputy chief. They have significant family pressures, and this is demanding a lot of time on their part. So they have stepped aside from their formal roles, but not away from the project. Jared in particular is still significantly engaged. Nick Hurdle is the new acting chief, elected as deputy chief, and now he's acting. And I didn't know him before this, but I'm very impressed by Nick. He's a lobster fisherman by trade, or he's a fisherman by trade, and he has no particular experience by his own admission with building things, but he is very, very sharp and asks the right questions and is prepared to make decisions. So I'm very impressed by Nick. He's a very good representative for the fire hall people, and he seems to have been very effective in pulling in the firefighting community into the process. So they had a session 3 weeks ago, I guess. I was involved in the preparatory things, and then Nick met with the firefighters and went through the drawings that you see in this package in a lot of detail and got basically universal sign off from the firefighters. So they're happy with what we're doing here, which is all important. There's still a lot of detail to be worked out, but we're narrowing it down. We're coming, fellow I work with, you guys have all heard this, said it's the funnel method of decision making, round and round and round and round. Finally, the answer pops out the bottom. So we're in the circles are getting pretty tight now. We are working with a good team, Acre Architects, which is the same crowd that did the work 2-3 years ago. Have been hired again after a public tender process. They have CBCL Engineering and a list of others I can't spit off the top of my head here, but we've got a hydrogeologist and we've got structural and mechanical, civil, all the engineering disciplines. And we're working with an old colleague of mine in Grey Cardinal Project Management, Donna Hoare, and her team. And she comes out of the construction world. I come out of the paper pushing world, lead project manager, and she came out of the nuts and bolts of construction. And she's very, very acute and very sharp, very tough minded about these things. So they are doing a really excellent job for us, keeping this thing on track and keeping it on schedule. So part of my role as a project director is to beat them about the head and ears about how much money we have to spend. And we have said from the beginning, well, we started a little bit of background. I think I might have talked about this one other time to you. I've certainly talked about it to others. Back when the first conceptual plans were done, there was a cost consultant, a well-respected cost consultant working for Acre, who as a subcontractor to Acre. So Acre came up with a set of drawings, which are not what we're building now. And the cost consultant came up with a number, which as I recall was $23 million or something in that neighborhood. That's the number that sticks in my mind. When we got started with getting down to brass tacks, we had to pick a number. And after pushing a bunch of bits and pieces around the spreadsheet, we concluded that 23 was too expensive. And 16 or 17 was inadequate to build a fire hall. And we did do some comparisons with other recent fire halls, and Grey Cardinal did a lot of work on that for us and got some real numbers from fairly recent builds on a square foot basis that we could compare to what we're trying to do here. We settled down on $20 million, which is all inclusive. It's the site work, the construction. The land has already been bought, so it doesn't include the price of the land, but it includes all of the work that's been done to date and designed. That is before we got rolling with phase 2 here. And the site work, the servicing, the building itself, all of the fees, all of the non-refundable HST, all of the contingencies, the whole works. So that's all in, and also I should say interest during construction. So nobody's got this money in the bank, we have to go borrow. So the interest during the period of construction is included in that number. So I have spent quite a bit of time beating this project team about the head and ears and saying that's the number, and don't come back to me with a building that's going to cost more than that. So we have a cost consultant, and the cost consultant and the architect have been working hand in hand, and there's a lot of back and forth. So every time the architect says, what about this for a finish? It goes to the cost consultant for a number, and to Donna Hoare. The cost consultant is a part of Donna's team. And there's been a lot of back and forth to try and keep the thing between the goalposts at the design stage. And I have been blunt, I guess is the polite word for it, telling the team, why are you laughing? In telling the team that if the cost consultant, when we get down to the Class B and Class A estimates, which will be in the next few months, comes back with a number that is not within our overall budget envelope, then we're all going to have to go back to the drawing board and do it again until we do have a number that's within that envelope. Now, the real test, of course, comes at the time of tender. there'll be a public tender for construction, and the tendering environment in the last few years has been very chaotic and very unpredictable. I'm being told that it has settled down in the last 8 or 10 months. The chaos is washed out a little bit, or perhaps some of the uncertainty is washed out. But nonetheless, we will go to a public tender, and if tender prices come in excess of our number, then I have told the team we're gonna have to turn the lights off again on the construction and go back to the design and peel it back. So here's a practical example of that. The firefighters have made a very cogent case for having a sprinklered building. Partly perhaps because of the potential embarrassment of having a fire hall burned down, which happened across the street here a number of years ago. The building is not required to be sprinkled by code. It's not a public assembly building, and it's non-combustible. It'll be a steel construction, is non-combustible. So it's not required by code to be sprinkled, but the firefighters made a very cogent case, a part of which was preserving the equipment. If, you know, there's a lag period, suppose it caught on fire, we'll have a very sophisticated alarm system, but it's gonna be 10 or 15 minutes before anybody gets there. And there are flammable materials in the building. Building structure is not flammable, but there are flammable materials in it. And one of the issues raised is if we have a significant fire in the building and we lose 2 or 3 pieces of apparatus, there's $6 or $7 million. And it also will impair the ability of the fire department to do their job for a long time. There's a 2-year lead time in these vehicles. So that's the argument for putting a sprinkler in. And right now we have a sprinkler in the design, but if we get our numbers back at tender, or if the cost consultants say, before we go to tender, you've got a problem. The sprinkler system, between the system itself and the cisterns that we have, underground cisterns, because we don't have any municipal water here. Mom, are you listening?
Yeah.
The cisterns and the fire pump are gonna cost somewhere in the $800,000 to $900,000 range. And it's not required by code. There are several, and we were in them, recent fire hall builds in Nova Scotia that, for cost reasons, said we can't afford it, we're not gonna sprinkle. So that's something we'll have to put on the table. So that's a practical example of the hard decisions that we are prepared to make in order to stay within our budget. So I don't want there to be tears, but there may be when we get down to the short strokes here. And I'm prepared to push those things.
Excellent, thank you.
Thanks.
Would you like to chat with us about money?
Well, sure, it's my favorite subject, money. One of the things that we need to understand in this proposal that we have that's in the package is that we can't go on the assumption that although we know there's going to be a very a big fundraising campaign, we can't go on the assumption of how much money may come in from that, or what governments may do in the form of grants, that type of thing. And right now we have a preferred rate of financing with a 0.75 under prime. So in this proposal that's put together here, we looked at what is the maximum, what is the real cost. And we know that, as Wilson pointed out here, that the cost of the project will not be more than $20 million, but it will be in that range. So the proposal that we have is we're looking at, well, how do we pay for that? So the financing proposal that you have in your package talks about financing that $20 million without any assistance from anybody. It's just the pure rate of financing the money and the $20 million. However, as I said earlier, there will be an aggressive fundraising campaign. It's already, some money has been raised. Like to date, it's almost 700,000. And, you know, the man sitting across the table from me is well respected in charities and fundraising, so his acumen speaks for itself. And he is suggesting that as a goal, we'll get 5 million from that, and I have no doubt that he will achieve, or we will achieve that. And then there's the part about government grants. Right today, there are no government grants, but the federal government has announced funding in a project, and we're certainly going to be applying for that. So there could be money there. When you look at the interest, and if you look at the chart that's on that page, it talks about what our payments would be, or what amount we have to pay back in different terms, just by taking the 0.75 of below prime, would be a difference between $75,000 and $100,000 in those last 2 years. So on each year on interest alone. So if you look at the fundraising that will happen, potential government grants, the cost of building the project is going to be certainly different than the 20 million. How much different? We can't say, because there's too many variables at play. So for the purpose of this, we have to show what the cost would be if we had to borrow the $20 million and finance that over 20 years. But as again, I think it can take some confidence from people like Wilson that have, we are very, very fortunate to have somebody like him as the project director here, and has done this for many years, and certainly will keep the project on cost with the team that he's put together. So some of the documents that the Chester Fire Service Committee have been using for planning purposes are attached. And they include the latest master project budget. The committee's cost consultant will have a Class B estimate ready next month and a Class A estimate ready at the end of the phase. The interim numbers are tracking where we want to see them, or where they should be, based on our projection of the project, or a ceiling of the project not being more than $20 million. A cash flow chart which shows the projected expenditure month by month over the duration of the project, organized by fiscal year, and the latest construction schedule. And that's all part of your package. So we have a request for a decision, and it's per the new second revising agreement clause 2. The municipality and the village shall guarantee the approved borrowing of the Chester Fire Services Committee as required to implement the annual capital budget as between the parties, and any payments by them pursuant to the guarantee shall be the same percentage as required to fund the annual capital budget. So therefore, the Chester Fire Services Committee, a body corporate under Section 60 of the Municipal Government Act, requests approval and a 50% guarantee of its proposed $20 million capital loan to finance Phase 3 construction of the Chester Fire Station project. Construction will take place over 2 years, starting in 2026 to 2028, and the loan amortized over 20 years. The finished building will be owned by Chester Fire Services Committee, and therefore 50% each by the two partners. If ever needed, the 2022 Fire Services Agreement contains direction around dissolution, term, or disputes, and dispute resolution. So there is a draft motion. Municipal Affairs have provided the text for the motion, and I'll defer that to Geraldine.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have questions for anybody, or Wilson, anybody? No? Or would you like me to proceed to the resolution? All right, here we go.
Can I make a point? as well?
Certainly.
So I understand that under the MGA, we must go to the public.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, Tom. That's for villages, not for the fire committee.
I think we have to go to the public.
I-
Is it better in writing?
I have talked to municipal
Yeah,
affairs.
got it in writing.
Probably.
Get it in
I
writing.
spoke to them last year about that.
I get it in writing, there's gonna be a
I
lot
have-
of upset people. there's gonna be significant donations. I'm over $2 million now.
Colin, I'll ask you that, if you are over two, because I keep hearing Colin McDonald. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe five. Now I'm hearing tonight it is five, is it?
It's over 2 as of last year, and we didn't get to this point yet. So
Okay.
now that we are at this point, we have a price tag and we have a design. I will now embark on asking for committing those to be formalized as well as other individuals. I do believe that there is the level of support both at the local level and in the areas of greater wealth to see the firefighters, the volunteers treated with a great deal of respect that they deserve and be given the facility that is safe for them and consequently safe for their families and safe for us. And also will minimize the tax or the insurance costs.
I'm not arguing that, Colin.
Yeah,
I'm.
I know that you're
I'm
not,
talking about
but
process.
that, the point I'm making is that the money is out there to be gotten. I will be going out to get it. So,
You're the expert in that. How much do we got?
pardon me,
You know better than I. The question is, how much think you can get?
I can get by.
You can get five.
Yeah.
But that's not the point here. The point is process.
It is. It's part of-
And I think, Heather, before we make a decision, it's right in the MGA, and I don't think you
That
can
is,
have
that
done
is
that.
for villages, Tom, not for this.
Yeah, But they're not, they're borrowing, but they're coming to us, we're approving it.
We're guaranteed.
We're guaranteeing.
I
I
would
checked again.
remind the table that Municipal Affairs has been fully engaged with us and Municipal Affairs provided the resolution that I am about to read. Therefore, if they provided the resolution, they approve it. Whereas the Chester Fire Services Committee, hereinafter referred to as the CSFC, was incorporated on October 17th, 2023 pursuant to Section 60 of the Municipal Government Act. Whereas the CSFC has determined to borrow the aggregate principal amount of $20 million for the purpose of new Chester Fire Station Phase 3 construction. Whereas the CSFC has requested the Commission of the Village of Chester, a village commission that has executed the instrument of incorporation for the CSFC to guarantee said borrowing, and whereas pursuant to Section 88 of the Municipal Government Act, no guarantee of a borrowing by a village commission shall have effect unless the Minister of Municipal Affairs has approved of the proposed borrowing or debenture of the proposed guarantee. Therefore, be it resolved that the Commission of the Village of Chester does hereby approve the borrowing of the aggregate principal amount of $20 million for the purpose set out above. That subject to the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs of the borrowing by the CSFC and the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs of the guarantee, the Commission unconditionally guarantees repayment of $10 million for the purpose set out above. And that upon the issue of the debentures, the commission chair and the clerk treasurer of the village commission do sign the guarantee attached to each of the debentures and affix thereto the corporate seal of the village commission. That resolution is before the commission.
We still have to wait on the minister's approval and the
The minister.
somebody else, yeah. So obviously there will,
Gets it next week.
yeah,
And then it goes.
And then it goes to municipal affairs and it
and you
is
say
approved by them.
this came from
This
municipal
comes
affairs
from
itself.
municipal affairs and it requires the approval before it can be signed. It requires the approval of the Minister of Municipal Affairs.
Yeah,
So,
it's saying that we can loan the money.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I agree. You can do that. But there is a process of which villages must go through to do that. In the case of the municipality, no, they don't have to. They can if they like, but they don't have to. In our case, a village, we're required to do it.
The information we have is challenges to that contradicts that statement you're making.
I don't believe so, Colin. I'd like to get that from municipal affairs in writing.
Well,
Okay, this is what we're going to do. We are going to pass this resolution or not, depending on the commissioner's wishes. Subject to written approval through the Department of Municipal Affairs, which we will get, I'm sure, within 24 hours. I am putting the motion to a vote. All in favor? Thank you, Gloria. Randy? All against? Tom? I vote in favor.
Favor.
Carry. Do you require a recorded vote?
no.
Okay.
I voted.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen. You're welcome to stay through the rest of the meeting, but we do allow you to
Unlikely,
leave
but yeah,
if you
yeah.
so choose.
Gonna go home and have a drink.
You
Yeah, you can.
All that comes knocking at your door, don't answer because if you're looking for money.
Hey, so you've got all kinds of money.
Don't worry, girl, you're right across the street.
Yeah, throw dollar bills at you.
That's all right.
Thanks very much.
I'm not that fussy. I take any amount. And I don't mind if it's thrown in my face. Oh, here.
Thanks for coming with a well-reasoned presentation. You
Thank you for your
brought
understanding
all the
and
big
support.
stuff.
What was the answer to the recorded and put in here? Yes.
It was,
No, I
carried.
didn't want-
It-
Yeah.
Tom did not ask for recorded vote, so it's simply carried.
It's gonna be a little bit. Yeah, now you can.
Thank you very much. Thank
Are you
Thank
enjoying our little meeting here this evening, ladies? Okay, correspondence is the next item on the agenda. Item 1, municipal affairs overview of legislative amendments. Are they desperately complicated, Heather?
I think we sent over.
We missed bylaw policies.
Or do we miss bylaw? Sorry,
Six
I
two.
skipped right over bylaw policies.
6.2.
Page 8.
What's the purpose of this? We have to do this every
Every
year?
once in a while you have to.
So it's not like we have a big deal that we have to change something.
We do have, no, we don't have to change. them.
Yeah.
We have to, these particular ones we're supposed to evaluate every year.
Yeah,
The-
that's
The
cool.
expenses and hospitality on that required to be part of our AGM.
Okay,
And the tax exemption, because we're in a new fiscal year, we're supposed to just have another.
Does the tax exemption have numbers in it?
Yeah, they,
So
Basically,
what are
it-
we doing with this?
we're making
reviewing
sure our
the
policies are
are up to date.
reviewing them.
Oh, okay.
And deciding whether we need to make changes but it's required of us to at least review them.
Okay.
Once a year.
of the, for the tax exemptions for nonprofit organizations, it was rewritten 2 years ago
I remember.
to allow
Yeah.
Yeah,
the list of organizations and the percentage discount that they get to be in an appendix.
Okay.
And we
I
haven't
remember
had
that,
any further
yeah.
applications to.
And we also had in that legislation that we could amend the appendix at any time.
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the policy as it stands?
I'll
Thank you,
second that.
Gloria. Thank you, Randy. Okay.
We have to vote like me, did we?
Well, unless anybody objects. Any objection? Carried. Property tax exemption policy. This is the one I was wondering, but there's the numbers. For owners with an income level of 20,000 or less, the exemption shall be the lesser of 536 or the tax on the Village of Chester area rate only. Does everybody see those? They're highlighted in yellow.
Page 13.
Does anyone, that obviously, if we're going to amend this, that is the
13,
section that we may want to be looking at. Does anyone have any comments on that?
Yeah.
We just changed that last year, I believe, didn't we?
I don't think we changed it.
We
I think
adjusted it or
approved it.
something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did the municipality raise their numbers? I looked at what's on their website currently and it looks it's the same, like we're
Yeah.
within
Yeah.
I'm
With
pretty
that
sure we
range.
dealt with this at least a year, maybe two ago,
But
the
don't-
dollar value
Yeah,
of everything.
don't forget the inflation. I mean,
Hmm.
people are saying the inflation is 2 or 3%. They're lying. You know, my grocery bill, I'm a single woman with a cat. And my weekly grocery bill has gone from 85 to $110, and that's very simple, because I don't eat meat. I can't imagine how people are feeding their families.
So do
Anyway,
you want, do we
But
want to
if-
change
if
the
we-
numbers or
well,
what?
if we only revised it last year, I suppose we shouldn't, and since it's an annual, we may want to look at it again next year.
We didn't have a lot of uptake, I don't think, last year. Do we have
I
any?
still don't have the final reconcile, so. I-
Oh, from the municipality,
Yeah.
yeah.
Would give me the totals.
Okay, what's your pleasure? Do you want to move to maintain the resolution as it or the policy as it stands?
I would move that.
Okay,
Yeah,
Randy.
seconded.
Thank you, Tom, Randy and Tom. Okay, at this time I will actually ask for a vote. All in favor? Thank you. Next one is reimbursement policy. Anybody have any difficulties with that one? It's for meal allowances, gas. Is our gas reimbursement equal with province or whatever it is? Okay.
We have a section in here that it aligns with the provincial number, whatever that happens.
So we just had to drop the meeting thing,
Yes.
getting reimbursement for going to meetings. and
Yeah.
stuff. I believe that turned out to be not quite
The-
kosher.
Yeah,
The only thing that you may wish to consider is the per diems. That's the only.
Oh,
thing
I
that
see.
has to
You
be
know,
cut to.
everything.
That was set in 2024.
Per diem, so here we go.
We're only traveling to Chester for our
I
annual
know,
meeting,
this year
so
it's not really.
we don't even
a
have
problem.
to change it maybe this year. Maybe we'll wait
Oh,
till
and
next year.
the ANSVs this year. Yeah.
Here,
Yeah,
where's the
here.
per diem?
Yeah.
It's on page 16,
No.
right at the top.
Oh, right.
because we're hosting this year, so
Yeah,
it's not like we're
exactly.
going on. to-
I guess we get to eat at home.
Well, I suppose that there are some sort of, perhaps if there was a meeting of some committee you belong to. That's being held in Bridgewater or somewhere like that, you
Yeah.
could technically. You know, this applies to commissioners only, right?
No.
Not you?
Commissioners and staff.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
What are you suggesting, Heather, or?
Really not, it's,
No, she's just bringing it to our attention.
Let's leave it.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the policy as it stands, the reimbursement policy?
I'll make that.
Thank you,
I'll second
Tom.
that.
Thank you, Laura. Hospitality policy on page 18. Is there anything that has concerns? Heather, you haven't highlighted anything, so you're not
No.
concerned?
no, it's, this is the one that we set up for the first time in 2024. And
Okay,
it's pretty thorough. I didn't see anything there that, like, there's no numbers that need changing. I think the only number that's even in there is under gifts, that gifts exceed $50.
great.
otherwise it's mostly a behavioral thing.
Mostly,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what you can't do.
Yeah, the fact that we are hosting the, does the hospitality policy apply to that at all or
It
not?
should do, yeah.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay, if everybody doesn't have questions, would somebody move that we approve the policy as stands for hospitality?
I'll make it.
Thank you, Tom. Gloria, for a second. Okay. Okay. Now, Geraldine can move to municipal affairs. Overview of legislative amendments on page 21. This thing correspondence, people. Is there anything we need to know about this that you would like to bring to our attention, Heather?
No, this was circulated to everybody really by the.
Yeah. I didn't feel that it applied to villages that much, although it has some pretty significant effect on council and their CAOs.
Yeah, I would say that
Yeah,
looks like it.
okay,
Chief administrative officer participating here, there and everywhere, yeah. it's
Yeah.
good.
Okay, the next item of correspondence is emergency management, the 12 months notice.
And as far as I understand, this is about the act to provide support for fire protection services that we were notified last month that passed.
Yeah,
And this is just reiterating that, it comes into effect in a
Still,
year.
still nothing on the money or how it's gonna be funded or yeah. Strange one enough.
yeah, details, eh? Okay, everybody happy with correspondence? Okay, reports and external committees, report from the chair. Now, I don't want to frighten you, but my report is 5 pages long, but just to remind me what I want to say, I promise I won't actually read it. First of all, our Visitors Information Center, as you all know, God, there I can see. The minister or the premier canceled all of the major big visitor information centers, which means those of us who are having the small information centers this year will likely be even more important. One of the things that we discovered last year, we just started our visitors information last year, so it took a while to kind of get into social media and so on. But we discovered people love to talk. And there's like the Doers and Dreamers guide, you have to pay to play. So there's a lot of small things that are not in there. And one of the things that we do in the Visitors Information Center is we make sure that all the little things that might not be in Doers and Dreamers that they would get on social media are available. And the other thing we do is, this is what you can do if you're traveling with little kids. This is fun stuff to do when it's raining. This is the closest place you can rent a kayak. So we have all these little lists and then we sit down with people and we have coffee machines and we sit. Of course, the most popular feature is the bathroom. And we get a lot of folks coming off the trails. But more and more and more people are coming off the highway and we had people all winter long, not a lot, but it was open. Ryan Cameron, who runs the station, he's the station master, kept it open and we've got the logbook there, people signing in. I mean, I was astonished. I'd go over and visit every once in a while and I couldn't believe it. There's signature after signature, people coming in. So, and they just sit, have a cup of coffee, have a chat. So it is, we're certainly never going to make any money, but it's of value to the village because we're sending people down to the shops, we're sending people down to the pool, we're sending people down to the washroom, we're sending people just in the area. And this year, we, thank you, Heather, did an application and we got a student. We've already hired her. Yay.
Well done.
One wonderful student, graduate Bachelor of English from St. Mary's. She lives in Chester with her mom and dad for the summer, on her way to Great Britain in the spring or in the fall to do her master's. And she's just wonderful. And she's one of our library volunteers. Yeah. So
Have you had a chance to vet her actual personality by
we
talking to
interviewed
her?
her. We interviewed her.
So she seemed,
We had more than one applicant.
she was pleasant enough and yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
she's lovely.
Good, that's
Yeah.
all that matters in this job.
And the other thing that we got this year, and because the way that Heather and I made the plan, it may not work out because you never know how you're going to get with volunteers. We're trying to do our volunteers morning and afternoon shift, 3-hour shifts, and then our paid person from 3 till 7 and on the weekends. It will never work out perfectly because things will shift around and so on, but that's kind of the plan. And the municipality has given us 1 day a week of their student who's going to run the visitors information on Thursday. So,
We're pretty well covered then.
well, cross your fingers and hope for the best. Heather's
Mhm.
about to run our call for volunteers. We have 2 of our volunteers from last year, core volunteers who are available. Our 3rd core volunteer, unfortunately, her husband is ill, so we may not see as much of her. So I think I've covered that. Oh, Station 20 has applied for a permit to operate a food truck, and that'll really suck. Yeah, well, and then the caboose is going to be like where you sit to eat, or you can get out of the rain. And they fixed it. One of my big complaints last year was the front and the back deck were not connected. So if people were on the front, they didn't do the back, or if people were on the back, they didn't do the front. So I have got my own way and we're connected now.
Are the ladies still running the little shop up there?
They are running the shop, but they're not in the building now. They're right in the,
In the old
The-
shed? The
no.
freight shed?
no, they're right in the station.
Oh, they're in the
They're right
station
next
now.
door to the Visitors Information Center. Or are they? I don't remember. They're still running the shop. Okay. So that is the Visitors Information Center. I think it's going to be a very good year. For the library, we're going to have a soft opening June the 1st. That means when you start things, things always go wrong. So we're announcing that it will be open June the 1st, but we're not having the big planned opening so that we can kind of sort out the little glitches and the this and the that. Then we're going to have the big blowout on July the 17th, hopefully a garden party. Cross your fingers. No rain, please. So, we advertised for volunteer library assistants. Heather, of course, did the work on that. And believe it or not, after only 5 days, we already have 12 people who have volunteered, 12. And the South Shore Public Library is running 2 training sessions, one the Thursday, the 28th here in the daytime from 10 till 2. Then there were quite a few people who couldn't do that date, but they were able to do an evening date. So that training session is going June the 2nd for the same amount of time. So that was pretty exciting. The South Shore Public Libraries also are in the process of hiring 20 hours a week library assistant who will be here. They have announced their programming. On Tuesday from 10 till 2, it's Babies of Books, 0 to 18 months. On Wednesday from noon till 4, we're having community coffee hour, and the commission will be doing coffee and so on, and we have volunteers who will be doing this, that, and the other thing, and then of course the librarians, and then we'll be introducing them to the club room. Thursday from 3 till 7 is afternoon fun for ages 6+. And on Saturday morning from 10 till 2, it's family story time. So we've got lots of exciting things coming up. Yeah, for the month of June, the library bus will be parking in the dirt between EHS and the fire station, but the librarians will be coming over here. But that's just to give a gentle switch over to people who are used to the bus. And then after that, this is the library. So I don't know if you noticed, but we've had complaints because how dare we propose to spend money from the warranty deed on a civic center? So I would just like to remind people that the warranty deed requires that this building must be run as a library and a civic center. You are sitting in part of the civic center right now. Over there in the club room, where we have to get it cleaned up, there's 5 areas over there. There's the 2 couches with the coffee table between. People can sit down, they can have a cup of coffee, cup of tea. We'll always have a coffee pot on. Next to that, behind it is a table. People can play cards, chess, play puzzles, to do English as a second language lessons, whatever will work there. Behind that again is an area where David Chaplain Saunders is building us 2 lovely little blanket boxes that will hold puzzles, games, whatever, cards. And then there'll be 5 period appropriate chairs kind of in that area. There's 2 desks where people can take their laptop and it will be hooked up to a printer specifically just for library users. We can't let them into our printer because we're a government and there's all kinds of privacy and everything. So they have their own printer. People can come in if they need to just copy an official document. It's all set up, ready to go. Thank you, Heather. So that room is going to be, we hope, active all of the time. And that also is where Maxine has her nook. That's what we're calling it, the nook, right at the back. And there's a nook there. And in front of her, like you hardly see her when you come in, although she can see out. And she will be there to help people, but there's going to be volunteers, there'll be Maxine, there'll be librarians. I mean, this is going to be a going place, girls. So, and boys. And so that is that room, and then upstairs, of course, is Heather's office. There's also a bathroom, there's also a bathroom off the Ondotching room, I'll get to that in a little minute, but upstairs is also what we're calling, well, I'm calling. The community room, where we have a series of file cabinets, little ones that fit under the eaves. And that's for organizations that are too small to have an office, but you want to keep continuity, and you know how sometimes you change secretaries, the minutes get lost and so on. So any group that wants to can use that room. There's gonna be a couple of desks up there. There's a lovely seating area in the hallway. And the Chester Garden Club is already committed to keeping their records there. We found the Women's Institute, we'll be setting that up. And we'll be telling groups that, you know, if you want to know that your files will be reserved, that room is for you. And then there's what I refer to as you don't know what to do with it, put it in that room. And of course, we have in the back, we need a name for the room in the back. I don't know what it is. So far, I'm calling it the activity room. But the Chester Art Center has rented it already for lessons for the children and for a 1-week art camp. And Heather, we've rented to the recreation people. They'll essentially be using the garden. We've already booked a wedding. You may be interested. They want to use the tower to get married. So there's lots happening. Should I put my glasses on, or have I exhausted you all here? Club room details told you.
Who was the group? I'm sorry, we're gonna use the garden?
Oh, it's the rec hall, the
The
recreation municipal.
Municipality of Chester Recreation.
Yeah.
They're gonna be running, a, gosh, what's it called? Toddler time or
Yeah.
something, but it's another kind of reading and activities for 18 months to 36
Sounds
months.
like the garden.
Yeah, and they did it last year.
And they pay, right?
Apparently successful.
They pay.
So this is their second year, everybody's paying. Obviously, we already talked about the boardroom. The last thing then that I have, well, the gardens in the tower, we have a gardener, finally. I found a gardener. Volunteer gardener, but the one thing that we're having, that's the biggest project, and will probably take most of the summer, maybe even into the fall. Is the accessibility, because this is a heritage building, I did not. Want it to go in the front of the building, no, want to keep the facade, so we're going to be bringing it in through the Ondotching room. But it's a matter of satisfying the heritage people, the municipal permit people. The provincial permit people, because our property line is 8 feet from the building, and then the rest of it belongs to the public works, and which is why we have that odd walkway in the front. To satisfy everybody's requirements, but the accessible walkway will come through into the Ondotching room, and then there will be an accessible washroom. Sadly, we'll lose a lot of that room, not a lot, but I mean, we'll lose some room in there, but it must be done. The other thing is that each one of the corridor doors will be wide by 2 inches, but then they're going to be put back. You'll never know, unless you know, you won't know, that they will be in exact historic heritage configuration approved by the heritage people. Everything has been approved by the heritage people. But we haven't quite got to approval by the permit people, but we'll get there. I think I'm done.
Well done.
Oh,
Can I ask, I guess you would know, Heather, it's not really germane to your proposal, but, or your report. Is the equipment for people to borrow books somewhere in the building already?
That's a librarian question, not a Heather question.
Oh, we're not providing the equipment? They are? Oh,
It's
okay.
like-
This is a library.
Oh, you mean the computer?
Yeah, well, what if I come in, I wanna take out a
Yes.
book, I assume
Yeah,
they're going to
there's
do
a-
it on a computer nowadays.
Now, there's a
basically.
checkout machine going to be in the reading room.
Yeah,
And there'll be a computer and a librarian and all the setup.
but
in
they're
the
supplying
room.
the
They
like
are
the
supplying
computers and
everything.
The
everything?
public
Yeah.
computer and printer is coming from us, and they're already here.
But the library comes from the library.
Their stuff, okay, I wasn't quite sure what.
June 1, it'll be ready, right?
Yeah, no, I just wondered because I had seen no indication of any of it being put in good place, yeah.
It's a kiosk, basically.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, I
I'm
realize.
essentially having a nervous breakdown.
A bulletin board needs to get on our list somehow, like an outdoor one or
question.
something.
Yeah, it has to be an outdoor one.
I think it was last month's meeting. We talked about weddings and all this, and then we talked about, oh, is there gonna be someone that run all this?
Well,
Like, who's gonna run
Maxine
over-
and me,
You know, say you got a wedding.
no, the librarians are running the library.
No, I
They have
get that.
nothing to do with
And
that.
then all this other stuff that's going on, is there?
Well, most of it's, self-managed, like what we have to do is the schedule, you know, so that we book this room, but then we don't have to be here when somebody has a meeting. We just book the room, so we make sure that we don't book it for two groups at the same time.
Say it's booked at, I don't know, 8 o'clock at night. Who's gonna be here to make sure everything's closed up and all?
Yeah, probably me. But-
Crazy.
Well, we don't have to rent it at night either. I mean, this is what we have to do now. We have to learn how to run the building. And then eventually we may get to the point where we'll say, we'll hire somebody. But right now, we're learning how to do it. And we're mostly concentrating on the library. But we're also gradually doing the civic part of it. But right now, we're only booking in the daytime. We have never booked at night except for that one. And that library's not us. The library is one of the evening program. But we may get to the point where we say, okay, we'll staff up. But right now, we're on learning
We
curve.
need an activities director.
Yeah,
Something like
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think, you know, we couldn't have done this and done it well without making a partnership with the library. And, you know, that's a good, I mean, they're the core part, and then with our trained library assistants and Maxine. You know, we can keep this going. Our official hours are 10 till 3. People come in before 10 and they come in to 4, you know, somebody will be here, we'll look after them. We may expand those hours, but right now, we're learning our game as we go. Anybody else? Okay,
Can I just say, something about this information center? When I was at Solardscapes, a lot of people, they said they were there
oh,
and they really enjoyed it.
yay,
And, I talked with different people and stuff, and they said, oh, well, we're gonna stop in there when we come down this year.
oh, great.
So, and,
Oh, yeah, that's already been, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Soulscape,
but that
yeah.
one wasn't as good as
You
last
didn't
year.
Wasn't
find?
it?
It
Too
wasn't-
bad.
They didn't have as many booths. I mean, there was a booth across from us, like right here, that was
Yeah.
empty the whole weekend. There was a couple of booths over here empty the whole weekend.
Do you think it's because people are suffering from money?
It's early. It was.
It was early.
Changed the day, yeah.
Yeah, they changed the
That's right,
date.
It was really early.
And
wasn't
Ashley,
it?
I said to Ashley, I said, well, how come, like, I said, are those people, was that rented? She goes, oh, yeah, and then, you know, different spots, she said.
They were trying to lure vendors in from the farmer's market, here come for $100 instead of the $800 to fill
Yeah.
the things, cause it's
Yeah.
fails when people don't.
But, there were, and then weren't as many people circulating around. But, I mean, it was, you know, it was nice and stuff, but it
Yeah.
just wasn't the same.
I guess it's just that hair too early, and also,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's true, but I felt like we had a really cold, windy, dull spring. I just didn't,
Yeah.
like, it's only the last few days that I felt like it's spring.
They have a new owner to that whole show,
Okay,
so it's
yeah.
not the same people, so we
Yeah.
may have to reconsider that. for next
Yeah.
year.
And that, well, they, Ashley said they're gonna do she said this wasn't the main one, they're gonna do one like they had before, so I don't know, right? So anyway,
Well, thank you for
Yes.
going anyway.
Yeah,
Gloria.
thank you, Lori.
Yeah,
I
so-
wondered how you made out there.
it was interesting.
Excellent. Okay, shall we do the clerk treasurer's report?
Indeed.
It's such a busy place right now, isn't it? Okay, Scotiabank. Wasn't on to pick this up on.
24.
Page 24. The April 2026 bank statement is pending reconciliation. That's still sitting on my desk because it's been a lot with the audit right now. The village main operations account opened the month with 376,000 and ended with 464. A snapshot of the account balances as of May 1st were the main banking account, 464,000. Then our investment accounts, the operating reserve has 105,000. The Lido pool reserve has 200 and nearly 12. That's excluding the grid funding that's still parked there, and I'll come to that later. The village utilities reserve, which is 44.5, and the EMC building reserve, which is basically 29,000. Financial, we are still waiting the decision for the recreation facility development grant for the Lido repairs, so I still don't have an update on what we'll be able to do there.
That's late.
It is taking a long time.
Huh.
I may just reach out to my contact and see if she has an idea of the time frame on that.
Is that gonna take place in now or the fall?
Well, I had hoped it would take place now, but if they don't confirm the grant, then
Soon be swimming time.
Yeah, exactly.
the pool opens on June 29th.
I thought we already had money put aside to finish that up.
No, you're thinking
that's
the
something different.
accessibility money.
Yeah, that's a different grant.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this is for all the repair budget, yeah.
We also still have to provide a cost proposal to Grid for the redirection of the Lido accessibility project to the library. I've been in touch with them this week. Drawings have been prepared by the consultant architect and are currently being adjusted from feedback with municipal planning, and estimating is in progress. What I have sent Grid is the latest version of the drawings that basically outline the project. I've told them it's not final, and that we're still waiting for costs, which I hope will be by the end of the month. And I
Yeah.
have a call scheduled with them on Monday, so.
There's also, we're kind of picking away there. Danielle Barkhouse is arranging for me to talk to the regional manager for highways, because there's a little bit of controversy about whether or not we can have an accessible parking space to lead into the walkway. So sorry to interrupt you on that.
It's part of the topic. 25-26 audit, like Lawrence Lake and a colleague were here on May 1st for site work on the audit. Yes, the first meeting took place earlier today. Second meeting has now been scheduled. The audit is presented at the June 17th AGM, so it ideally happened the week prior, and now we know it will happen on the 10th. The 2025-26 Q4 budget variance report is still pending adjustments that will be directed by the auditor. So some important information is still outstanding, including the final tax reconciliation from the municipality.
That's late again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Too, I was expecting at the end of April.
Yeah.
That's when they told me it would come, but I have to give them another little nudge.
So it'll be next month before the report might be.
Yeah, or regardless of where we are, I'll have something.
You can always
Yeah.
throw an estimate in.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, it just, it does make it for a longer time between them.
Yeah. Legal pool washroom, the lifeguards have all been hired with the assistance of Nevea, our 2026 lifeguard manager. This will be her 4th season with the Lido as a lifeguard, and having her managing the schedule and being on the spot for the other guards will be a big improvement. It's been difficult for me to get down there as much as I think someone really should be, so.
Well, she's senior enough that she should.
Yeah, exactly. She's in university. Darcy has confirmed her swimming lessons begin on Monday, June 29th, so that will be Lido's opening day. The public washroom reopened on May 1st, and I'm in negotiations with All Outdoors to set dates for them to finish that accessible parking space and the entrance path, landing and front door.
Have you figured out what's going on about the difficulty of flushing?
We think, what now? Who was I talking to about that? We think honestly, like if some of it is the handles keep breaking off, because that's been happening.
This is a
Um,
toilet you're
in the
talking
public
about?
washroom,
okay.
yeah. And we're also concerned that some of the toilets might be running, and that's why we keep running out of water.
Ah.
So Gibby's gonna check into that too.
Okay.
That's
His latest theory.
salt water, isn't it?
It's, but it goes into, actually, I'm not sure, it goes into a, there's a tank
Cistern.
underneath, yeah,
Sister,
Well, it's a cistern for the fresh water,
yeah,
but the toilets flush off the ocean.
oh, okay.
yeah. I'm not
Oh,
sure.
really?
I wonder if the salt water is doing something
Eats
to
the
the
pipes.
mechanism.
Yeah.
You
I don't think that
Heather,
pipe is out
may
there.
wanna
For
check-
the water, I don't think the pipe has been put out yet for the water.
Oh, okay, there's your problem.
Okay, Visitor Information Center, Geraldine already spoke about this, that we had hired a summer student. She's a recent graduate and is home from for the summer before moving abroad for graduate school. Library financial snapshot, the library account balances as of May 15th were 190,000. I'm still unable to see the library accounts on our Scotia Connect. I've got an investigation open to see what the delay is. In the meantime, I get the balances from our representative in commercial banking. I met with Tim Topping, the municipality's director of finance last week, to go through remaining to-dos and the spreadsheet for the 2025 financial statement. He has now provided the final file for 2025, but we still need January to March 2026. And again, this is when they're still managing it, so it's really just a copy for our records. He will also be submitting the library's charitable tax return for the same reason. I get to do it next year.
I was gonna say, are we gonna take that on as well?
Yeah. It's pretty straightforward. In order for the village to be recognized as library charities contact with Canada Revenue, a letter must be submitted signed by the former trustees whose names are on the account. Tim is not. I haven't written that yet, but I will do that and give you a call.
Barb was on the trustees.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tim
Barb.
has contacted Canada Helps to change the contact from him to me on the library's donation page there. That actually got completed yesterday, so I'm now on that, and so actually Maxine's on there as a secondary contact. As you know, the announcement that the library is reopening on June 1st has gone out. That was last week. You can see the activities and events scheduled to date on the library calendar on our website. Laura and I have been working on updating some of the copy on the original one, so we've changed the links so that they go to the right place. But we haven't been able to populate that calendar yet, so that will come. Annual general meeting, the standard government newspaper ads for the AGM will run from the South Shore Bulletin in the May 27th and June 3rd issues. The meeting will be held, well, it's a subject for discussion.
Yeah, serious discussion, I think that.
Yeah, we'll come back to that. Draft agenda is included for consideration. It's basically the same as every year, because that agenda is in our meetings procedures policy. We have a flyer in the budget for the AGM. I suggest rather than a separate mail out, we publish a summer newsletter and include the announcement text for the AGM and election in there. And then we could also share the dates of the reopenings of the pool, the IC, library, summer compost collection, all that kind of thing. This would be pretty straightforward to put together.
Yeah,
If we can get it out in time.
Yeah.
We're sort of a time constraint here, yeah.
Yeah, if you agree, then I will.
I like
talk
the
about
idea.
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
it's a superb idea, Heather.
Great.
Yeah, why do doubles?
Village election, the list of electors for the village was received from the province on May 15th. While not required for villages as it is for municipalities, I will open a revising period for amendments to the list from June 1st. So if people need to call to remove someone who may have passed or moved away, or they're new to town, they have to come and see me and show me ID and mail and all that sort of thing.
Good.
The village website's elections page was updated last month with the most current information and the 2026 nominations package available for download. So those key dates, the nomination deadline is Wednesday, June 10th by 5 p.m. The proxy voting application deadline is the next day, June 11th at 5 p.m. The advance poll will be Saturday, June 20th from 11 to 7, and election day is Tuesday, June 23rd, from 9 AM to 7 PM.
So proxy voting stuff can be done before June 11th, but that's the cutoff.
Yes, that's
date.
the cutoff.
Okay.
And that is a thing for me.
Thank you, Heather. That was a major report.
That
Where's the?
Oh, the AGM here, yeah.
Okay, let's go back, shall we, to the club room, or do you want to deal with that separately? The AGM location. I think that all things considered, we better look at St. Stephen's Tuck Hall,
Yes, I agree.
if you wouldn't mind,
I
Heather.
will check into that, no problem.
Because here's the thing, we know we're gonna get negative crowds, so let's everybody try and get our friends there for positive crowds, please.
Yeah.
Barb is sitting back there sniggering.
I will confirm the location.
Okay. So minutes for CFSC, listen, you have to say CFSC as many times as I did
Just
there a
in
little while
fire
ago.
department.
It
Yeah.
gets
Say
crazy.
fire committee.
And the FAC minutes have been attached for info by Heather. The LCAC, I should be reporting on, but I have pre-conflicting meetings on the same date of that meeting, and then sadly I had to pick another one. I did apologize to Ellen, who has been fabulous to us, by the way, and helpful in this whole accessibility thing. Ellen, by the way, in case you guys don't realize, is the coordinator for the Lunenburg County Accessibility Committee. And I happen to be the member on that committee that represents the commission. So, I did not do my duty in the last election.
This looks like last year, AGM or something.
All right, commissioners, would you have anything that you would like to place on roundtable before we make consideration moving camera?
I attended the Mi'kmaq 101 day at the Gold River, and it was a very long day, but
Yeah.
it was terrific. There were over 30 members of the municipal council.
Excellent.
There.
Yeah.
Tim Topping is a smart lad, a lot of really good people. There was fun things, deep things, sad things, people crying. It was
Oh,
very interesting. The only thing was missing, and who was in Bible Hill with me, Nancy. They had done a short talk in Bible Hill, the same two fellows that run this.
Okay.
I'd love for them to team up with somebody from, well, Bahaba. I mean, I practiced it. Nation, because they're from
Robert, it
Cape
was
Breton.
Robert,
Yeah, they're
right?
from Cape Breton
Yeah, he's-
and from Millbrook. So we still are no closer to having connections. Well, I'm not.
Right.
Culturally, yes, but we'd like to meet some folks from there. That's my only complaint, but it was terrific, and I would go again in a minute.
Great. Well, that's
And they
great.
had Gold Bean did the food, and it was good, but it was very long. It was draining.
Yeah,
It'll-
the whole day.
The slideshow about residential school and stuff.
And mentally draining as well, yeah.
And Robert, also one quick story, Robert said a woman in a fancy car, and she was fancy, pulled up in his driveway when there were kids running around in Cape Breton. And they're like running over to see the fancy car and everything. It was his mother's sister who had been scooped up in the
Oh.
60s scoop
Yeah.
and lived in the United States. And then a brother had the same story. It's pretty heavy stuff. Anyway, I think everyone enjoyed it. And it was a great, all these people work together in municipality. Well, they sure learned a lot about each other
Wow.
that, would help understand them. It was fantastic. So
Really good.
thanks for letting me go.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else have a share seat? No? Well, thank you for coming.
Well, thank you.
It was lovely to have a friendly audience.
I came as a friendly.
Yes,
I came to support Barb. Nothing happening.
Thanks for coming.
No take on it.
Thank you.
See you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you both.
7:17. Motion to go on camera, please.
I'll second that. If you need it.
Sorry.
if the motion's on the table, was it seconded?
Yeah, I second it.
Okay, all in favor,
Going in camera?
thank you.